Pitch line in the air towards center field. That ball's gonna get down. Yellow Drawing has done it.
Shaq's got to go. He will fire.
There's no one that's bigger than the power team.
Across his body, reaching up, climbing the ladder.
They are the kings of the relays. 2:42.3. Another record.
For the first time since 2007, Tennessee's defeated Connecticut.
The pitch. Swing and a miss. That's the ball game. How about that? Tennessee, the climb is complete.
You're either a ball or you're not, through thick and thin.
From world records to national titles, Tennessee has really racked up the awards this year.
That's why Tennessee Athletic Director Danny White coined Tennessee the Everything School. Hey everyone, I'm Luke Lamery alongside Alexi Cowan.
And I'm Griffin Hadley.
And I'm Kylie Atchison.
And we're here with our guy Smokey to start the show. Now, Smokey sports the 00. Let's talk about the staggering numbers from this year of Tennessee athletics.
$234 million in revenue across all sports. Record combined attendance of 1,234,843. Combined average attendance of 30,118 and 70,500 season tickets sold.
We're the everything school. But what it really means more than that is all of the student athletes on every single team are competing at the highest level in their sport. I love supporting that. I love advocating for that. And I'm just really proud of all the coaches and all the athletes.
Sports are all about the numbers, the stats, the records. But we're here to tell you the stories behind them all.
And we asked you guys what your favorite stories from this year were. Here's what you had to say.
Do you have a favorite UT sports moment within the past year?
Meshack making that buzzer beater three, man, that was unreal.
The Jemai Meshack three-pointer against Alabama, I got that on video.
Just owning Alabama right now. I mean, I was at the game with the game winner, rushed the field. I mean, we just own Bama right now. That's really it.
Probably beating Bama in football.
Us beating Alabama was so fun. We were at the game. That was like an awesome thing.
I'd probably have to say us winning the World Series for baseball is pretty awesome.
It's got to be the 3 Grand Slams baseball team in one game. I mean, that's insane. That's unheard of. I've never heard anything like that in my life. These dudes are about to go back to back, and they just win.
Definitely Tennessee baseball winning the national title. I grew up in Knoxville, so like seeing us have this, like I've never witnessed us win the national championship before, so that was definitely like a surreal moment.
Today, we're counting down the biggest moments in Tennessee sports this year.
And of course, a nod to the sheriff himself, Peyton Manning. It's your top 16.
We have had so much success on Rocky Top this year. I'm thrilled to start off the countdown with the number 16 biggest moment. Our national title doesn't happen without this play. Hunter Ensley's impressive catch, even with a slam into the outfield wall at the College World Series. Go Vols.
Who could forget when Hunter Ensley hit the wall during the College World Series?
And they left that up for the rest of the tournament, a reminder of just how tough these guys are and for giving their all for Tennessee.
To get a better sense, I think, of Hunter's journey and the team as a whole. You know, the Tennessee's baseball team as a whole has really grown a lot in the past few years.
And some of our students were involved in a documentary. You can find that on the Tennessee Athletics YouTube page.
I'm Mike Keith, the new voice of the Vols, and we're ready to show you TVC's number 15 top moment of the sports year.
For the record and for the win!
Grad student and outside hitter Nina racking up 42 kills in a match to shatter a Tennessee record.
She also became the first player in SEC history to eclipse 40 kills in a match during the 25-point rally scoring era, and the second player in NCAA history to do the same.
Right now it doesn't seem as big as people say it is. I proved to myself that I can do this. So I think it's just personally a very big success for me, and obviously I owe it to my team.
And our next moment is another record broken by a fan favorite.
And to help us out with that is Kylie and Griffin. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, guys. At number 14, we've got a familiar face.
Let's take a look.
Hey everyone, this is ESPN basketball analyst and former/forever Lady Vol Andrea Carter, here to announce the number 14 moment of this past year in Tennessee athletics.
Nico out of the shotgun. We're going to hand it off. Dylan Sampson is going to be fighting for the end zone. He's in. Yeah. Touchdown, Tennessee. What a run by Dylan Sampson.
Running back Dylan Sampson set the single-season rushing touchdown record.
This is a guy Tennessee leaned on again and again. Sampson holds the SEC record for most rushing touchdowns in 8 games and the UT record for rushing touchdowns. He was named the AP 2024 SEC Offensive Player of the Year and was also a semifinalist for the Doak Walker Award, recognizing the top running back in all of college football.
He was also a member of the Vol Leaders Academy during his time at UT and a 3-time member of the SEC Academic Honor Roll.
A few weeks ago, Sampson and some other familiar faces got their names called at the NFL Draft.
Sampson was picked up in round number 4 by the Cleveland Browns. He was one of 4 Volunteers from last season selected in this year's draft.
Joining James Pierce Jr., Omar Norman Law, and Dante Thornton Jr., the Volunteers also had 3 players sign as undrafted free agents. Will Brooks, Amari Thomas, and Elijah Simmons all signed NFL contracts following the conclusion of the draft.
Overall success in all of Tennessee athletics has been athletic director Danny White's #1 goal since he's been on campus at Tennessee.
Our Toby Fagan sat down with the man in charge.
Athletic Director White, it's lovely to have you here today. It's been about 4 years now since you took this job, and in many ways, this graduating class you've shepherded in their athletic careers. What was the 3 most important things that you did as an AD taking this job?
3 most important. I think there's been a lot of milestone moments in the last 4 years. Probably when I first got here, we needed to get our football program right. So hiring Josh Heupel was a really critical decision to make sure we got the right culture and the right direction for our football program. It's so important, not only because of the high-profile nature of that sport, but from a funding standpoint, it's an enormous part of our resource base and how we invest in not just football, but all of our sports. So getting the football hire right, then imagining what our revenue machine needs to look like in the stadium, in the arena, and we totally blew up that whole model and brought in a more modernized approach that's allowed us to grow our revenues significantly. We've about doubled our revenues in 4 years, which has been a huge part of our success across the board, allowing us to invest back in our programs. And then building a championship culture is what we like to call it, but student athletes and teams that care about one another and take pride in representing this university, our student body, our fan base, the state of Tennessee. We believe that a competitive culture is contagious and can feed off itself, and our student athletes are competing at record levels in the classroom and in competition.
We'll have more from Danny White in our next half hour.
And we'll be back in that half hour as well, but let's send it back to softball where the Lady Vols are hosting the Knoxville Regional this afternoon.
Thanks, guys.
Our countdown continues.
Next on your countdown is Christian Moore, hitting the 2nd ever cycle in College World Series, helping us beat the Florida State Seminoles in Omaha.
Moore tags it on a line to center. Oh, wow. Williams goes back, and it's gone! A cycle for Christian Moore! The 2nd in Men's College World Series history.
Talk about fan favorites, we have another one. Christian Moore coming in at number 13. When the Vols leadoff man hit the cycle against Florida State in Omaha last June.
And now we're joined with reporter Collier Blackwell.
That's right, Alexi. In the midst of one of the biggest games of the season for Tennessee baseball last season, SEMO went 5 for 6 with a single, double, triple, and a home run, completing only the 2nd cycle in College World Series history. His 440-foot home run completed the cycle, cutting the Florida State lead down to 2, and played a major part in why the Vols completed one of the biggest comebacks in program history.
When we get back, we'll kick it over to Jordan and Zach, who have our number 12 of the countdown list.
And a little sneak peek, we take a look back to the trip, not only to Columbus, but to Birmingham.
Neyland Stadium, Shields Watkins Field, one of the oldest stadiums in the country, was not the first on-campus field at UT. The forerunner of Shields Watkins Field, which was not constructed until 1921, was Waite Field. It was site of the first ever on-campus football game, October 3rd in 1908. Overflow crowd of 2,000 saw Tennessee play North Carolina, win that game 12-0, and noted sports writer Brandon Rice served as a referee.
Our countdown continues through the biggest moments in Tennessee athletics history.
But first, a record that you, the fans, broke. This record set off the field and in the stands for back-to-back years. Tennessee saw the most fans in the NCAA across the board.
And Taco Bell awarded Tennessee with the Liv Moss Student Section Award.
This year we had 63,000 applications for our freshman class of about 7,000 students. So to me, there's a correlation between those two things. You're competing at a national level in one thing, you're competing on a big national stage for everything. So it's important to our success. And you can track it over the last few years on a number of different dimensions. So I'm really proud of that.
And there's more to come as Tennessee is continuing to expand.
With construction in the works at Lindsey Nelson, Sherry Parker Lee, Neyland Stadium, and Food City Center, here's a peek at the renovations. But until then, let's head over to Zach and Jordan to pick up the next moment.
Thanks, guys. I'm Jordan Smitherman.
And I'm Zach Pelfrey, and today we're standing out front of Thompson Bowling Arena at the Pat Summitt statue to bring you your next few moments.
Hey, I'm Elza, four-time All-SEC tennis player for Tennessee. I'm here to introduce moment number 12, celebrating all the incredible success Tennessee has had in Olympic sports. Go Vols!
We're keeping our countdown going with number 12, recognizing the 32 Tennessee athletes who competed in the 2024 Paris Olympic Games.
Like Jordan said, there were 32 Vol athletes in the Olympic Games, which is 6th most in the NCAA and 2nd in the SEC. Swimming led the way for the Vols with 17 total Olympians. Tennessee's fifth-year swimmer, Mona McSherry, secured a bronze medal for Ireland in the 100-meter breaststroke, highlighting a successful Olympic campaign for the Volunteers.
I'm Sarah Puckett from the Lady Vols basketball team, soon to be proud LVFL, and I'm here to continue the countdown to moment number 11. Go Vols!
Tennessee making their first appearance in the college football playoff. Everyone's first experience with a 12-team playoff bracket, your Vols came in at number 9.
While it wasn't quite the outcome they had hoped for, it was a spectacular journey to get there. Our Lexi Cowan made the trip up there for us and spoke to Vols fans who made the nearly 350-mile trek.
Let's take a look at the excitement.
We love TVC and what you do. You guys are awesome.
Tailgate time, here we go.
Hey, go Vols!
What do you think about the Buckeyes tonight?
They're going to lose. We're going to win.
I think it's over for them. I really do.
Give me your score predictions for tonight. What's your score predictions?
400-0 Tennessee Vols. Okay. Ohio State plays in the Big Ten, more like the Little Ten. They suck eggs. Everything's orange up here. The buildings are orange. The traffic cones are orange. The scooters are orange. The fire hydrants are orange. Do you not love that?
I love it.
You gotta love that.
Can you explain to me, what is this M?
Well, they lost to Michigan, and they're like butthurt about that. So
what happened at Michigan?
Get out of here with that.
That's what I thought.
And Jordan, I can say that it was as cold as advertised. I made the trip up there, and I mean, I was freezing.
When I was watching it on TV, that seemed to be all they were talking about. It was a crazy road to the CFP, with one of the first major milestones being a home game for Coach Josh Heupel.
After 3 blowout games against non-conference opponents in the beginning of the season, Tennessee welcomed the Oklahoma Sooners to the SEC with a thrilling 25-15 win. This was just the first step in the Vols' road to success.
But with every step forward, there come steps back. Who could forget the loss to the Arkansas Razorbacks? And it was a nail-biter, to say the least. But some Vol fans are firm believers that the loss was a much-needed wake-up call.
And Jordan, speaking of nail-biters, early in the season, the Vols welcomed home to their arch-rival, the Florida Gators.
They're feeding off of this crowd. You know that the offensive linemen are sitting in there. They can't hear the snap count. They probably can't hear the clap.
It was what turned out to be one of the most electric games of the season. Had it not been for an overtime touchdown by Dylan Sampson, the Vols very well might not have made it to Columbus.
And who can forget the moment that determined the Vols' future and sealed their fate as playoff contenders? Will Brooks' interception against Alabama, picking off Jalen Milroe with almost a minute left to ice the game.
Hey guys, Owen Redfern here from the 10-meter platform, bringing you guys number 10 of the Tennessee Sports Moments from this year. Today we're going to be talking about Kim Caldwell. 10 out of 10. Great job. We love what you've done with the women's basketball team. And yeah, on to the next. Go Vols, baby.
Coming in at number 10, the Lady Vols have been on a tear as of lately after hiring Coach Kim Caldwell. Caldwell started 13-0 this season, which is the best start to a Lady Vols coach in their first season.
Caldwell led the Lady Vols to a 24-10 record. We are there every step of the way. Let's take a look back.
Hey guys, Luke Lamry here alongside Holland Hines and Toby Fagan behind the camera. We have just arrived at Legacy Arena in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah, we've done what we can to prepare for that. We don't really look back. We are hopeful that we're a new team and it's a different game. They're playing really well right now too, and anything can happen in March, but we just need to make sure that we are playing like we have our last 2 games.
Tipped by Hollingshed, Spencer got it. Now Spencer into the lane, turnaround jumper, the free throw line, got it, and a foul! Now Spencer's gonna drive into the lane, puts up a scoop shot, got it, and one!
Final score here in Birmingham, 59-67, and the Lady Vols take a tough loss to the Longhorns. And one look at the stat sheet tells you all you need to know. The Lady Vols shooting less than 20% from beyond the arc, 4 for 10 from the free throw line, and it proved to be their demise. They had to foul in the final minutes down 5, and it proved to send Texas to the Elite 8. Sends the Lady Vols home, and it'll send TVC home as well. I'm Luke Lamry in front of the camera, Holland Hines and Toby Fagan back there as well. We'll see you back in Knoxville next time right here on TVC.
Whitehorn with 2. Cash from the corner.
In Caldwell's first season, she led the Lady Vols to the Sweet 16 in Birmingham, beating South Florida 101-66 in the first round, and number 4, Ohio State, 82-67 in the second round.
This is a big deal for a first-year head coach who has never led a D1 team before.
Just a couple of days after Caldwell's first media appearance, we sat down with her mom, Miss Linda Stevens, to talk to her about her daughter.
It's hard to believe that this is really true. It's beyond a dream. Somebody told me this morning, well, this is a dream come true, and I said, I don't even dream this big.
And the coolest thing about all of this, she was pregnant and gave birth halfway through the season. She only missed 1 game and came back like she never missed a beat.
When she returned from her 1-game maternity leave, Tennessee fans went nuts. She's already becoming a legend here in Knoxville. Don't leave just yet. We'll be back to you in a moment as we take a look behind the voice of the Vols.
The formal women's intercollegiate athletic program wasn't established until 1973 with the recognition of basketball and volleyball programs. Beginning in 1976 and 77, a full slate of 7 intercollegiate sports were included in the inaugural year. Prior to that, women's sports at UT had a history with basketball. That was being played as an intramural sport in 1901, and with some intercollegiate level beginning on 1903 and through the years. It wasn't until the enactment of the Title IX in 1972 that full accreditation was given to all sports.
Welcome back to TVC's Everything School Special, where everything really does mean everything.
That's right. When flooding from Hurricane Helene devastated parts of East Tennessee, your national championship Tennessee baseball team were some of the first to step in to help.
The team volunteering to help families who lost everything, rebuild and restart.
But now to pick it up at number 9, we're passing it over to Jeremy and Lily.
My name is Drew Beam, and I'm here to introduce moment number 9.
Men's basketball had a lot to be proud of this year, from dramatic finishes to historic success on and off the court.
The future looks so bright from the foundation this group built. Here's a look at what went down in the 2024-25 season.
Tennessee has lost 2 games in a row to Kentucky. This will really be their game to decide whether or not they want to come up on top. So I think the fans can have a big deciding factor with that.
The Vols are headed to the Elite Eight after beating Kentucky 78-65. Alexi, give me your rundown of this game.
You know what was different from this game from the past 2 Kentucky games? Tennessee looked like a Final Four team.
After a dominant and exciting Tennessee victory, I asked fans how they're feeling heading into the Elite Eight.
Probably 3-1 blue to orange. We're walking away with 15-point victory.
Coach always tells us to never get sped up, and I feel like Coach does a great job putting us under pressure during practice, so we're prepared for these moments.
In the event of a win this afternoon, this would send the Vols on to their first ever Final Four in program history.
It doesn't matter what seed they are, where we're playing, if we're playing a football stadium, soccer stadium, whatever, we still got to lace them up and play Tennessee basketball.
When we were talking to the guys last night, they said that was the big key here, that they were going to have heart because of what they were doing this for.
Guys like Jordan Gainey, Zakai Ziegler, Meshack, I really wanted for them. You know, they've been through the fire.
The current score at halftime is 34-15, Houston over Tennessee. Tennessee is ice cold in shots right now.
The red and white confetti is covering Lucas Oil Stadium tonight as the Tennessee Volunteers suffer a heartbreaking loss in the Elite Eight to the Houston Cougars. Ziegler told us in the locker room that all he could say to Coach Barnes was, "I'm sorry."
I told him I was sorry, and I loved him. He told me he loved me, he appreciated everything I've done. I got so much respect, so much love for all nation and everybody a part of it.
They really did become a family, and they cared about each other, and they fought to the very end for each other.
Stick around later as we talk about Jemai Meshack in that incredible buzzer beater against Alabama. That was such an amazing shot, huh?
Yeah, that was absolutely insane. And the atmosphere after the shot, absolutely nuts. Let's take a little deep dive into who this basketball team really is and what they have accomplished. They started white hot, or maybe a bright burning orange, with a 14-0 start to the season, including a tough win over a ranked Illinois team.
They took that out of conference momentum into SEC play with a dominant win over the John Calipari-led Arkansas, setting the tone for who this team is for the season. This team took that hot start all the way to the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament, and I was actually there getting to cover this game.
That's right, and even though they weren't able to pull off the win, this is still the 3rd Elite Eight appearance for the Vols in school history, and the 2nd in 2 years for Rick Barnes and company.
You guys did a great job. Mentally, you did a great job just from an intelligence standpoint, the scout report, emotional, all that. Now we got one day to get ready to do it again. As we keep going, what I keep talking about all the time is toughness. It's toughness, okay? Toughness in every area, emotional every area, okay? We got settled down early, but again, we got more to do.
Rick Barnes is the winningest active NCAA men's basketball coach right now after his 836th win over Kentucky this season.
And Tennessee is going to the championship game.
We got to be on edge the whole time, and we're going to be the aggressor.
Barnes followed up that historic win with a historic offseason, grabbing the highest rated recruit in program history in Nate Ament and finding some gems in the transfer portal. This team is looking very strong for next year.
I told him I was sorry, and I loved him. He told me he loved me, he appreciated everything I've done.
Hi, I'm Pat Ryan, former UT quarterback. I'm here to introduce the recognition of Bob Kessling and his outstanding career as voice of the Vols.
Coming in at moment 8, the voice that echoed through Vols fans' minds for decades, the legendary Bob Kessling.
This past fall, the legendary voice of the Vols announced his retirement after 26 incredible years of service with the Vol Network. Our own Zach Pelfrey got to sit down with Kessling after his last football call.
And it's football time in Tennessee.
I've always said that doing games play-by-play
is the next best thing to playing.
Bob Kessling, voice of the Vols.
By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch in the end zone on the Hail Mary.
A voice heard around the state of Tennessee for generations, from fullback to full-time broadcaster.
John Ward trained me, and so I've had great confidence I could do this.
Kessling has now been in the booth for 26 years.
There have been so many memories and so many games that it's just hard to pick a couple that really stand out, because sitting in this booth, if you don't get excited when they come running through the tee, you need to go do something else.
And so he stayed, knowing that this is where he belonged.
If I get hit by a bus headed to the parking lot, I'll be okay, because it's not going to get much better than this. But that's kind of why you get into this business, to be able to have those incredible moments that you just kind of sit around and you just go, wow.
And after all these years, Bob said, it's finally time.
It's one of those things that you want to get out while you still think you're doing a good job.
With a job like this, time can just slip away from you.
I got 4 grandkids. I have 5 coming up in the first of the year in April, and I've missed so much of their games already. And I'll miss it. I mean, you always will. I mean, it's been part of you for so long.
We would like to thank Bob Kessling for his dedication and his expertise. He will surely be missed in the booth.
Definitely, but we would also like to wish Mike Keith good luck this coming season as the new voice of the Vols. I'm sure he will be amazing.
Absolutely.
This can get a little personal, I guess. I wear Boston Celtic underwear for every game. Is that too personal? And then in football, the only superstition I have is I never wear a tie. I always wear an orange tie, but I never wear a tie that's got a loss in it.
I like to say a little prayer before every game and thank God for the opportunity to do the games and to honor him with the job that I do, and the players play hard and all that kind of thing. And that's meaningful to me, and I do that, 10 minutes before tip-off.
Tennessee Athletics has been very successful all across the board, that lots of people have been waiting hours in line to take home a piece of the action.
Yes, this was for the annual inventory sale, and I got to speak with people who lined up as early as 8 a.m. for doors open at 5:30. Toby Fagan was also there to speak with these people.
Just beyond these doors at the Anderson Training Facility, fans got a unique chance to dress like their favorite players. The athletic department hosted its annual warehouse sale, where fans could grab all kinds of gear, ranging from t-shirts to helmets. They could suit up now like their favorite player for a fraction of the price.
So I actually I saw on Facebook they were selling helmets, and I've been a UT football fan since I was young, so I just always thought about owning a helmet one day.
We're sorting out what we got, and by size, because we're buying for other people too, like my sister-in-law and my brothers.
Family.
Yeah.
Get us something while you're there, so we're buying for lots of people.
Well, that is it for us here today.
Our countdown continues when we get back.
Nathan Washington Daugherty is considered by many to be the founding father of UT Athletics. A 3-sport letterman and captain of the football, basketball, and track teams from 1906 to 1909, he later became dean of the College of Engineering and served as chairman of UT Athletic Council for 40 years. Responsible for the hiring of General Robert R. Neyland in 1925, plus strong influence in the growth and expansion of what we now know as Neyland Stadium.
Welcome back to TVC's Everything School Special.
We are counting down the 16 biggest moments in Tennessee athletics this year.
Talk about a moment that was out of this world. Astronaut Butch Wilmore, a Tennessee alum, was stuck in space for 10 months. And what was his first, or one of the first, public appearances? Well, he came back to Rocky Top to throw out the first pitch at a Tennessee baseball game.
That's right. He told the team that he had his flag in space, cheering on the team as they won their national title in Omaha.
The Vols are back after a weekend away, and they are not the only ones who returned home tonight. Vol Nation welcomed back NASA astronaut Butch Wilmore as he threw the first pitch at his alma mater. A native of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Wilmore earned his master's at the University of Tennessee in Aviation Systems at the UT Space Institute in Tullahoma, part of the UT College of Engineering. After his extended 9-month stay with SpaceX, Wilmore was welcomed back with thunderous applause as he sported the Power T. Reporting from Lindsey Nelson Stadium, I'm Sophie Starkey.
Before we continue, our own Toby Fagan sat down with athletic director Danny White.
Here is the rest of their conversation.
Yes, sir. Now,
You talked a lot about funding and revenue. That was your main priority coming in, you said off the top. You broke a record here now with funding. What has that meant to you, and how do we keep growing off of that?
I think we have the most powerful, most passionate fan base, not just in college sports, but in all of sport. We're the only school in the country with a sold-out stadium, sold-out arena, sold-out baseball and softball stadiums. We've led the nation the last couple of years in attendance, combined with football and the basketballs. And we're really proud of the support that we get and appreciative of the support we get with our fans. And we've been able to monetize that at a really high level. So we've tripled our fundraising numbers, doubled our revenue source, doubled our licensing number. We're now the #1 school in the country in licensing, which that means we have more apparel than any other college athletic department running around the streets and neighborhoods, which is great for the brand, and it's great for our revenue source as well.
Live Moss Student Section Award.
Yeah.
Broken attendance record. How do we keep getting those students involved?
I think it's huge. I've said my whole career, and especially at Tennessee, our game day experience for everyone there, it starts with the student section. Our students come out strong in all of our venues, and we're so appreciative. I wish we could fit more in the stadium. I love the fact that we're able to get a lot more of our students closer to the court in basketball, more in the lower bowl. We're going to continue to make it a priority to find ways to get our students more involved and giving us that home court, home field advantage. It certainly inspires our players and motivates them, but I think it inspires everybody in the building, and it makes the rest of our fans just a little more energized and amplifies that home field, home court advantage.
Looking at some of those biggest moments that probably contributed to funding, what kind of were your 3 favorite moments from this past year?
From this past year, a national championship is always fun. The baseball national championship, and it had been 15 years since we'd won one in any sport. Hopefully it won't take that long to win our next one. But proud of that accomplishment. Finishing #3 in the nation at the end of last year in the All Sports Cup was a proud moment because it celebrates the success of all 20 of our sports. Having and kind of on that same notion, having all 20 sports make the postseason for the first time in school history was a big accomplishment, and then winning our 3rd straight All-SEC All-Sports Cup. We had never won that before, and it's an award that's been around for 40 or 50 years, and we won it last year for the 3rd year in a row. So we've had a lot of success. We're the only school in the country to have a playoff team and both basketball teams in the Sweet 16. Obviously, our men made it to the Elite 8. So I'm giving you more than 3, but we're proud of a lot of what's happening around here.
We're halfway through our countdown, and so far we've looked at your Vols in the college football playoffs and in March Madness.
Let's keep it rolling.
Hey everybody, it's Ryan McGee of ESPN, class of '93, here at the Miami Wet Grand Prix. And at number 7, our beloved Lady Vols taking down UConn.
For the first time since 2007, Tennessee has defeated Connecticut. Tennessee with a strong second half with the finish.
Earlier this February, the Tennessee Lady Vols basketball squad took down the longtime rival UConn Huskies for their first time since 2007.
This top 25 clash between 2 iconic women's basketball programs brought in the largest home crowd for the Lady Vols this season. With the help of Z Spearman and Samara Spencer leading in points, the Big Orange defeated the Huskies in a high-scoring affair, 80-76.
With this being one of the biggest wins in Kim Caldwell's head coaching career with Tennessee, she has made it known that she is paving the path for her own legacy while paying homage to legendary Pat Summitt.
We played really hard. I think this was the game where we played the hardest, the most consistent. And so for them to run over and give me a hug was great. I want them to enjoy every moment of this.
You have to keep your composure against them, and I think she does a great job of forcing you to adapt to them.
And although Coach Caldwell insists that she will never be Pat Summitt, it's impossible to talk about Lady Vol basketball without honoring the legend that is Coach Summitt.
Our own Alexi Cowan sat down and talked about one of the biggest names in women's basketball history.
Knoxville, Tennessee. Not only the home of the Volunteers, but of the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. Many legends are featured in these 4 walls, but one trailblazer is the reason this building stands tall in Knoxville. Mrs. Pat Head Summit.
If a teammate gets confused and something's called, then y'all just commit to it. Just trust in each other during the series.
Led the Lady Vols to 8 national championships, 18 Final Fours, and 32 combined SEC titles. She is also the reason that Tennessee holds the record for most wins in NCAA women's basketball.
We got to really defend, and we got to rebound. They're going to start really pushing tempo. Slow them down.
Not only was she a trailblazer for women's basketball, but for courage and strength.
Hey, it's Camille Spink, 8-time SEC champion for Tennessee swimming, and I'm here to introduce the number 6 moment for this incredible year of athletics on Rocky Top. Number 6 is the Tennessee Lady Vols swimming and diving performance during the championship season, where we collected 7 SEC titles, including my 3 wins in the 50, 100, and 200 freestyle, and Mona McSherry's 4th straight title in the 100 breast. We're pumped for even more incredible moments next year. Go Vols!
It is impossible to encapsulate all of the success that Tennessee's swimming and diving had this past year. It was a historic year for both the Lady Vols and the Vols, and it was their first year in program history both teams placed in the top 5 at the NCAAs.
At the men's NCAA championships, Tennessee totaled 3 NCAA titles. Jordan Crooks cemented himself as one of the greatest Vols of all time after winning his 2nd individual 50 freestyle NCAA title. He also led both the 200 freestyle relay and 400 freestyle relay to national championships. He was joined by Lamar Taylor, Guy Caribe, and Nikolai Blackman to set NCAA records in both relays. Crooks additionally set an NCAA record in the 100-yard freestyle with a time of 39.83 seconds.
And this all comes after Jordan Crooks setting a world record in the 50-meter freestyle this winter. Griffin, you're there. You're on the team. How does this moment feel for you?
It was an electric year, and it would be an understatement to say that this year was a success for the program. The amount of medals that were won at SECs and NCAAs, but it really wasn't just about that. Our coaching staff said that this was the most connected team in history, and you were able to see that on deck, and I think that was the most special part.
Yeah, and you felt it too. You felt it. It's not just something to see, you feel it.
Oh yeah, after they won the relay championship at NCAAs, I jumped off the bleachers 3 times in 2 minutes, and then we ran up to the guys. All of them started crying. We couldn't help but be emotional. It was a special moment.
There you go.
And on the women's side, the Lady Vols posted their 2nd straight top 5 finish and their 8th straight in the top 10. Tennessee had 11 total All-Americans led by Camille Spink and Mona McSherry, who both finished in the top 4 in their respective events.
You know, when I think about swimming, some people tend to believe that once you hit the age of 20, you're kind of old. But I don't believe that I'm getting that old, and I think that, you know, I have so many more years left to give in the sport.
At the SEC championships, 10 school records were broken and 54 top 10 marks were achieved. During the meet, the Lady Vols and the Vols tallied 28 total medals, including 12 SEC championships.
Mona McSherry won her 4th title in a row in the 100 breaststroke, finishing just 1/100th of a second ahead of freshman teammate Kenzie Soroki. Crooks was named SEC Swimmer of the Year after his historic year of performances on the biggest stages of the sport.
For now, let's toss it back over to Luke and Alexi for our moment number 5.
Thanks, guys.
Our countdown continues.
Hey, Trevor McGee, sports editor of the Daily Beacon. Coming in at number 5, the Nico Iamaleava saga. We've been covering it at utdailybeacon.com. Check it out.
On Friday, April 11th, Vol football and their fans were left shocked as their quarterback was a no-show to practice that morning. With 24 hours until their spring game, nobody knew what was going on.
Then, 24 hours later on the morning of April 12th, the day of the spring game, it was announced that their 5-star quarterback, Nico Iamaleava, was entering the transfer portal.
Yeah, as Josh said, there's nobody bigger than the program. There's nobody bigger than the Power T. We have a great culture in our football program, and it's really important that we got guys that are bought in into what we're trying to do. And we operate that way, not just with student athletes, with coaches, with staff. We want people that want to be here and take a tremendous amount of pride in representing this flagship university.
We're joined now by Lauren Gimpler to talk a little bit more about this situation.
Yeah, guys, Nico was a player who was expected to be the hero on Rocky Top, but has now found himself as the villain. The Volunteers look to bounce back in the fall with their new quarterback from UCLA, Joey Aguilar. The conversation surrounding Nico has reached national headlines as this is the first major case of its kind. The likely future? We'll soon see other players follow in his footsteps. Due to the new rules on NIL and direct revenue sharing, any star athlete would naturally want a bigger piece of the pie. But head coach Josh Heupel wasn't ready to let that happen.
Thanks, Lauren.
There's no one that's bigger than the Power T.
Your number 4 that gave you more than what you're bargaining for is that Jemai Let It Fly, the Meshack buzzer beater that took down Alabama in the Food City Center at Thompson-Boling Arena. Go Vols!
Thank you, Sterl the Pearl, for that energy. For your number 4 moment in front of a sold-out crowd locked into a tie game against a bitter rival, the Alabama Crimson Tide.
The Volunteers found themselves with the last possession during the grudge match on March 1st. With 3.8 seconds left, the Volunteers inbounded the ball into senior guard Jemai Meshack. Full steam ahead, a few steps across half court, Meshack launched a 35-foot three and buried it. He beat the buzzer and willed the Volunteers to a 79-76 victory.
His ability to guard any position on the floor is unparalleled, making him an X factor for the Volunteers during his 4 years on Rocky Top. A member of the All-SEC defensive team and a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year, Meshack is one of the most decorated and storied players in Vol Hoops history.
A recipient of the 2025 Torchbearer Award, he is recognized for all he does off the court. A member of both Voice and Fellowship of Christian Athletes, Meshack embodies what it means to be a volunteer.
In March, Meshack launched the Meshack March Madness virtual food drive following his last-second shot that helped the Vols beat Alabama. Initially, the fundraiser had a goal of $7,900 in reference to the 79 points Tennessee scored against Alabama. But by the end of the fundraiser, donations to benefit Second Harvest Food Bank of East Tennessee surpassed $21,000.
And speaking of torchbearers, I'm sitting right here beside one. Our own Griffin Hadley was given the incredible honor of the Torchbearer Award. Griffin, how did that make you feel? What did that mean to you to receive that honor?
It was incredible. It was an incredible honor. And to be honest, Kylie, when I was surprised on the pool deck with all of my teammates, coaches, journalism professors blew through the storage doors of the pool, I was shocked, I was emotional, and it was just the best moment. And I couldn't be more grateful to be a Tennessee Volunteer. That's all we have for now. Let's send it back to Luke and Alexi.
Traditional sports at the University of Tennessee had its early beginnings. They were football in 1891, baseball was in 1897, basketball 1908 and 1909, and then finally in 09 track. It wasn't until 1927 that tennis became an official sport, with the formation of the Southeastern Conference, and the university in 1934 officially added minor sports of boxing and wrestling and golf and swimming and cross country.
Welcome back to TVC's Everything School Special. Before we get back into the countdown, one of Tennessee's longest serving athletic coaches just announced his retirement after 35 years. Dave Parrington wrapped up this 35-year career that saw him become the most decorated diving coach in SEC history, winning SEC Coach of the Year 16 times and National Coach of the Year once in 2013. His coaching brought about 47 SEC champions, 3 Olympians, and 1 world champion. We sat down with him as he reflects on his career.
Just working with the young divers, male and female alike, every day, seeing their faces of joy when they learn something new or develop a new skill or have the success, and but also helping them in those low moments. And it's not all hunky-dory. It's there's a lot that goes into it.
Congratulations on a fantastic career, Coach Parrington.
Thanks, guys. I'm Luke Attal.
And I'm Sophie Starkey. We are here in the Allen Jones Intercollegiate Aquatic Center.
And we're here to bring you our third and second best moments in Tennessee athletics from this year.
Hi, I'm Carlin.
I'm McKenna.
And coming in at number 78, number 3, is throwing the fastest pitch in NCAA history.
and softball winning the SEC conference in 2024. We're super excited for the rest of the season and the big things that are going to be coming.
As you almost certainly know, the Lady Vols softball team is where Carlin Pickens made her household name. Pickens recorded the fastest pitch in softball history at 78.2 miles per hour.
The previous record, 77 miles per hour, was also held by a familiar face to Tennessee, Monica Abbott. Truly an impressive feat on the softball diamond.
The whole team is on a hot streak, taking series wins against two of the highest-ranked opponents on the road. First to go down was number 2 Oklahoma in Norman. After a second-game loss, your Lady Vols rounded out the series with a 5-3 win.
And then just 2 weeks later, your Lady Vols traveled to Austin, Texas to face off against the #1 ranked Texas Longhorns.
And the Lady Vols win the series against the top-ranked Longhorns.
The team bounced back after a first-game loss to take the series and put them at the #1 spot for the week. Earlier this semester, our Zach Pelfrey had the chance to sit down with seasoned softball coach Karen Weekly in the dugout.
Let's take a look at what she had to say about the team.
Do you ever just slow down and realize what you guys have built here?
When I do stop and think about that, I never think about accomplishments on the field, because that's really not what it's about. It's about the people you get to interact with every day and the young women that you hopefully get to have an impact on.
Coach, what does being a Lady Vol mean to you?
Being a Lady Vol means excellence. It means everything you do, you are striving to be the best, most competitive version of yourself, whether it's in the classroom, as a leader on our campus, in the community, on the softball field, as a daughter, as a sister, as a significant other. As a Lady Vol, you're held to a standard of excellence, and you're a model for that.
In Knoxville, Zach Pelfrey, Vol News.
What's going on, Vol Nation? Carlos Lopez here, the Spanish voice of Vamos Vols, and I'm here to keep it rolling with TVC's countdown of the top moments of this past year. Tennessee Athletics coming in at numero 2 when Tennessee football beats Alabama for the second time in 3 years, and those goalposts come down once again. What an amazing honor it was to be able to broadcast this game in Spanish, because Tennessee is the everything school. Vamos Vols!
Coming in at our number 2 spot, and this was a close second, is the third Saturday in October, when Tennessee football beat Alabama at home for the second time in a row.
And that was a 24-17 win by the Vols this year. In 2022, Tennessee won by a field goal at the last second to make that Tennessee's first win against Bama since 2006. 2 wins that Tennessee fans will never forget.
Grayson Thatcher was there watching the game.
I'm Grayson Thatcher, filming live in Neyland Stadium after the Vols just took down the Tide. Fans have stormed the field, ripped both goalposts down. However, they are not allowed to leave the stadium for fan safety. Fans are now, if you take a look, they are ripping grass up from the field. I mean, what a night to be a volunteer. In Knoxville, I'm Grayson Thatcher, Vol News.
And the guy to seal the game was none other than Will Brooks, a true underdog story. Brooks walked onto the Tennessee team as a freshman. He waited his turn, and it sure paid off.
And it was a senior season to remember not only the Bama interception, but a game-winning interception against Kentucky. And just a couple weeks ago, he signed as an undrafted free agent with the Kansas City Chiefs. Talk about a volunteer. And another moment from that game caught on camera by our sports director was Alvin Kamara as he crashed the press conference.
A real surprise in that one, and a truly unforgettable moment.
And a very special voice introduced our number 2 spot.
That's right, Sophie. I had the chance to sit down with Carlos Lopez, the Spanish voice of the Vols, to hear his story.
Mi papel en la universidad es la persona que comenzó por primera vez en la historia. Ya llevamos jugando fútbol americano desde el 1891 y por la primera vez en la historia, en el 2024, tuvimos la oportunidad de transmitir y narrar todos los juegos de fútbol americano en español. Tengo que hacer algo para unirnos, y de ahí creció Vamos Vols.
Neyland Stadium, Shields Watkins Field, one of the oldest stadiums in the country, was not the first on-campus field at UT. The forerunner of Shields Watkins Field, which was not constructed until 1921, was Waite Field. It was site of the first ever on-campus football game, October 3rd in 1908. Overflow crowd of 2,000 saw Tennessee play North Carolina, win that game 12-0, and noted sports writer Brandon Rice served as a referee.
Music, by definition, is subjective. It speaks differently to each of us. Whether we're listening to a symphony orchestra, or a rock band, a Broadway show. And it's especially true when it comes to college fight songs. My name is Aram Demerjen, and I'm the music director of the Knoxville Symphony Orchestra. What makes a fight song great? It needs to be easy to learn and very singable. It also needs to be distinctive and original. And, of course, it needs to be inspiring. I have the awesome responsibility today of choosing the best, most effective college fight song based on objective, unbiased musical criteria alone. I have to be true to that responsibility. Here are our 5 finalists. The Notre Dame Victory March. Notre Dame's Victory March, it doesn't get much more iconic than that. Ba 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 da da dum. It's just all scalar step. It doesn't require any extensive vocal technique at all. Just a slight knockoff because of all of the syncopations. Da 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 da. So we'll give a 5 for melody, a 4 for rhythm. Now, originality. No matter what team you're a college football fan of, you hear the Notre Dame Victory March and you know one of the schools that's playing in the game. Oklahoma's Boomer Sooner. We're gonna start off with melody. Yum ba dum ba dum da dum ba. It's quite a repetitive melody, so that works in its favor. It's a classic march rhythm, very straightforward. 5 for rhythm. Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner. Points for being easy to learn. Michigan's The Victors. And full disclosure, my wife is a Michigan Wolverine, so I've got to tread very carefully here. A lot of really good things to say for the melody, a lot of stepwise scalar motion. Ba 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 ba. Doesn't get much more straightforward and catchy and easy to learn than the rhythm to The Victors. So without saying much more than that, a 5. It is original, it is a classic, it gets a 5 for originality. USC's Fight On. There are a lot of what we call in music, we call dotted rhythms. Yep, ba-da, 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 ba-da. It's a galloping rhythm to be sure. You can't beat this song for originality. It was written in 1922 by, if you can believe it, it was written by a dental student at USC. That kind of tickles me a little bit, and so we're going to give it a 5 for originality. Rocky Top. The melody doesn't get much more straightforward. Ba 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 ba. That's stepwise motion. Ya da da. Triadic motion. Ba 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 da ba ba. More stepwise motion. So we're giving Rocky Top a 5 on melody. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. I heard that once and it was baked into me from the second that I got to Knoxville. Originality. Now, this was not written for UT, but it's also the only song out of these 5 that held a place on the Billboard Top 100. We see that Michigan and Tennessee are tied neck and neck with 18 points apiece, just edging out Notre Dame that has 17. It's pretty hard not to give both of these fight songs a 5. So to break the tie, here's my view on it. Rocky Top doesn't just represent a football team or a basketball team or a university. It represents an entire region and all of the people in it. So that's why we are going to kick an extra point for Rocky Top. Give it 6 on the inspiration scale, which means that Rocky Top is our winner for Best College Fight Song.
I'm John Wilkerson with Tennessee Baseball. 34 years of being around the Big Orange, you always knew it was possible, but without a doubt, it was so special, June 24th, to be on hand when everybody's baseball dream came true. So counting it down to number 1, Hello Win Column, it's Tennessee winning the national championship.
Championship in Knoxville for the baseball team.
You're either a Vol or you're not, through thick and thin.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, of course, at number 1, has to be the national championship win in Omaha. What a great day to be a Tennessee Vol.
That's right, the Base Vols fought hard to get to the Natty, topping some of college baseball's toughest contenders. We talked early about Simo's cycle and Hunter Ensley's wall crash, but who could forget his crazy slide to solidify the win? What a nail-biter. The final result, of course, a 6-5 win in the championship game against Texas A&M.
It's the first national championship in Tennessee Baseball's program history, and for Coach Tony Vitello, who managed to do it in just 4 years with the Vols.
An amazing win to round out some amazing moments. Now that number 1 moment, it was truly memorable. I remember being on campus and running up and giving the torchbearer a hug.
Yeah, I was abroad and stayed up until 3 a.m. and watched the whole entire game. But anyways, that might be our number 1 moment, but Smokey right here is our number 1 dog. I mean, from all of us here at TVC, we hope you have an incredible summer, and we'll see you back here for so much more in the fall.
I think it is confirmed that Tennessee is the everything school.